Imagine if you could stop negative thoughts in their tracks, take control of your mindset, and finally build the life you truly deserve. What if I told you that you can? In this video, we're diving deep into cognitive restructuring, an incredible tool that can completely transform the way you think. If you've ever felt trapped by self-doubt or held back by limiting beliefs, cognitive restructuring is the key to breaking free. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with practical steps to shift your thinking and overcome negative mental patterns. Because let's face it, how we think shapes how we live. Ready to upgrade your mindset? Let's dive in. Cognitive restructuring may sound like a complicated term, but it's actually a life-changing, simple technique that anyone can use. It's all about learning how to spot and challenge those negative thoughts that keep you stuck. When you learn to do this, you can reshape your mindset, elevate your mood, and boost your overall sense of well-being. Now, here's a fact to get started. The average person has around 60,000 thoughts per day. Out of those, about 80% are negative. That's right, 80%. But here's the good news. Cognitive restructuring helps you challenge that inner critic and take control of your mental narrative. You don't have to be a prisoner of your own thoughts. You can reshape your reality by reshaping the way you think. The first step to reshaping your mindset is identifying your negative thoughts. Sounds simple enough, right? But here's the thing. Most of us don't even realize how often we're caught in a negative loop. We've all been there, telling ourselves, I'm not good enough or I'll never be able to do this. But how often do we actually take a moment to recognize that inner dialogue? Practical tip. Keep a thought journal for a week. Every time you feel anxious, stressed, or upset, write down exactly what you were thinking in that moment. Was it something like, I always mess up? Or why even try? I'll just fail? Putting these thoughts on paper helps bring them to the surface, where you can examine them. This simple exercise can be a game changer. Often we aren't even aware of how many negative thoughts run in the background of our minds, like a constant stream of mental noise. Once you start tracking them, you'll see patterns emerge, and once you recognize those patterns, you can start to break them. Example. Let's say you're working on a big project, and a thought crosses your mind. I'm just not cut out for this. Instead of letting that thought pass unnoticed, write it down. This gives you the chance to confront it head-on. Step 2. Challenge your thoughts. The next step is to challenge those thoughts. This is where the real transformation begins. It's not enough to simply notice a negative thought, you have to actively challenge it. Let's take that same example. I'm just not cut out for this. Instead of accepting it as fact, ask yourself, what evidence do I have to support this? Have I been successful in similar tasks before? Do I have skills or experience that contradict this belief? When you dig deeper, you'll often find that negative thoughts are rooted in fear, not fact. And by questioning them, you dismantle their power over you. Example. Think about the times when you've succeeded before, even in the smallest ways. Maybe you got positive feedback from your boss, or maybe you finished a similar project last month. Remind yourself of these instances to counter the negative narrative. Here's a scientific fact. Research from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, has shown that challenging negative thoughts can significantly reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. By questioning these thoughts, you're rewiring your brain to think more positively and rationally. Step 3. Replace negative thoughts with positive, realistic ones. Now that you've challenged the negative thoughts, it's time to replace them with more positive, realistic ones. And notice I didn't say overly positive, just realistic. Cognitive restructuring isn't about deluding yourself into thinking everything is perfect. It's about seeing things clearly and fairly. Instead of thinking, I'll never be able to do this, try replacing it with, this might be challenging, but I've overcome difficult things before, I can figure this out. Notice how much more constructive and empowering that sounds. It doesn't ignore the challenge, but it acknowledges your ability to grow. Example. Let's say you have a fear of public speaking. Instead of thinking, I'm going to embarrass myself, replace that with, I've prepared for this, and even if I make mistakes, I'll improve next time. When you replace negativity with realistic optimism, you shift the way you experience life's challenges. Over time, this becomes your new default. Call to action, comment. At this point, I want to hear from you. What's one negative thought that's been holding you back lately? Share it in the comments below, and let's challenge it together. By putting it out there, you're taking the first step in breaking that mental cycle. And who knows, your story might inspire someone else reading through the comments. Step 4. Practice makes perfect. Here's an important thing to remember. Cognitive restructuring is not a one-time thing. You're not going to rewrite years of negative self-talk overnight. Like any new skill, it takes practice. But the more you practice, the easier it gets. One way to practice is by setting aside 5 minutes at the start of each day to review your thought patterns. Take a moment to identify any potential challenges that lie ahead and prepare your mind to face them with positivity. Think of it as mental strength training. For example, if you know you'll be dealing with a difficult conversation or a stressful meeting, pre-frame your mindset with a thought like, "This might be tough, but I'll handle it with calm and confidence." Preparing your thoughts beforehand puts you in control of how you respond to life's stressors. And here's a bonus tip. Visualization can be a powerful tool. Mentally rehearse yourself successfully navigating challenging situations. This helps condition your brain to expect success rather than failure. Step 5. Surround yourself with positivity. Now, this next point is one that's often overlooked but incredibly important. Surround yourself with positivity. The people you interact with, the media you consume, even the spaces you spend time in, everything has an impact on your mindset. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, whether it's through toxic relationships, negative social media, or even self-doubt, it's going to be incredibly hard to maintain a positive outlook. So take charge of your environment. Pro tip: curate your social media feed. Unfollow accounts that make you feel bad about yourself, and follow those that inspire you, motivate you, and uplift your spirits. Your mind is like a sponge. It absorbs what you feed it. So be mindful of what you're letting in. Another powerful way to surround yourself with positivity is to spend time with people who inspire you. Seek out mentors, friends, or colleagues who embody the mindset and success you want to achieve. Step 6. Celebrate small wins. Finally, remember to celebrate your wins, no matter how small. We often get so caught up in striving for big goals that we forget to acknowledge the small victories along the way. But those small wins are what build momentum and keep you going. Every time you successfully challenge a negative thought or reframe your mindset, take a moment to appreciate it. Every time you push through self-doubt and take action despite fear, give yourself credit. Fun fact: studies show that celebrating small achievements boosts motivation and helps reinforce positive behaviors. So don't overlook those moments of progress. Whether it's getting through a difficult meeting, completing a task you've been procrastinating on, or simply noticing that your mindset is shifting, acknowledge and celebrate it. And there you have it, 6 powerful steps to mastering cognitive restructuring and taking control of your thoughts. Remember, how you think shapes how you live. When you learn to break free from negative thought patterns, you're opening the door to a more confident, resilient, and fulfilled version of yourself. So what's next? If you found value in today's video, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people who are ready to transform their mindset. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our weekly self-development tips.